Thank you very much to be all close to me. We are here in Geneva for the EAN meeting, and we are very happy to share together our main concern about environmental issues and climate change. Today we are in the middle of the heat waves here in Geneva, and I think it's very important to address this issue as a group of neurologists involved at the level of the European Academy as well as in France and globally at the level of the World Federation of Neurology, where we had a group dedicated to environmental issues. So it's very important to be here and to attend this meeting, and we learn a lot much about what is the impact of climate change on neurological diseases. And now my colleague and friend Anne-Marie Landtblom is a specialist in MS, and she will give us some insight about the effect of heat in the case of MS patient.
Thank you, Jacques. Yes, it's very nice to be here, seeing that EAN has really highlighted the topic of environment in many sessions here. And I'm worried about the MS patients that we have, because they have a very well-known heat sensitivity that is affecting a lot of their symptoms, especially fatigue, but also pain, paraparesis, vision, etc. So increasing temperature is really a threat to the MS patient in terms of getting more bouts, but also having more symptoms during the time when heat is elevated. I had an e-poster here, which is a literature review of a lot of studies which give very good evidence to this.
Yes, thank you much, Anne-Marie. I think it's important, Pascale, to give you some insight. You are the president of the Club de Neurologie de l'Environnement in France, and you told me about one of your patients who died, and the death was related to climate change in some way, to heat wave. Can you give us more explanation about what happened to him? Thank you much.
This patient stay outdoor early in the morning to keep his fruits, and during all the day to sell them near the road. And the third days he have a very, he was warm, and he tried to refresh, but he went to his home, and he died. He was an epileptic patient treated by Epitomax.
Yes, yeah, Epitomax, yes.
And he died. I think that the treatment is
inappropriate, perhaps?
Not inappropriate, but to take a role
in what happened to him.
What happened to him.
Okay.
And the higher temperature are also important for the mental health. We know that there is augmentation of suicides, violence, feminicides with the high temperature, and the role of the treatment is to be considered, because there is a risk of dehydration and
Mais dis-le en français, je t'aiderai.
D'interaction.
Interaction between a lot of people in vulnerable patients.
And medication.
Okay. So as you see, we have different types of concern. We have symptoms like fatigue, we have the possibility of very acute and unexpected fatalities related to heat and heat stroke. And on the other side, Professor Berger, who is head of the neurological department in Vienna, will give us more insight about the MS effect in general, and also perhaps your perspective in global neurology, in global issues, and you see what is important is vulnerability of patient to related to the extreme events. This is very important. So Thomas, please.
Yeah, Jacques, thank you very much. I think the MS is usually a very prototypic disorder for many conditions, and including also now for climate change and air pollution, environmental changes. And we as citizens recognize that climate change is a matter. We as neurologists recognize that climate change and environmental change is a matter for our patients. The only one who does not recognize is our government or even our health authorities. However, this has been neglected for various reasons, we all know that. But I think by our advocating voice as neurologists for our patients, it starts getting also less neglected by our health authorities. And I give you two examples. The one example is that there is in Europe a European court case which has been claimed by two MS patients because they think or they want to make their respective government responsible because they do not act enough against climate change and therefore are responsible for their disease worsening. So there are court cases in the European Court, which means that the governments and the health authorities can't ignore it anymore because now they have to deal with it. And the second thing is, we are as neurologists sometimes blamed as advocates of our patients that we are just taking single cases. Yeah, this case has a worsening of his or her condition. Now, if you look at the evidence, and again, MS is a good example, if you look at the evidence, it's not the heat peak days which cause the disease worsening in the patient. We know the heat sensitivity. It is the average temperature rise which causes the worsening for the patient. And I think this is something which has nothing to do with the usual climate peaks we experience since the first meteorological analysis. It is a matter of truly the change. And I think this is highly important. And our job as neurologists and neurological community is, of course, not only taking care of MS patients, it is patients who are elderly, with neurodegenerative disorders, with metabolic disorders, etc., etc. We need to be the advocate, and we have to deliver the evidence for that.
Thank you so much. And you have pointed when we prepare this meeting also to what is very important. And this education of neurologists. And I'm very happy to have today with us David Tanner from the University of Bern. And David is the technical leader of something very important, the CAS, Certificate of Advanced Study about the brain health. And I think you have many things to tell us about your students, about the project you are running under the rule of the EAN and the University of Bern in general. So David, please tell us your experiment about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jacques. So I'm here from the University of Bern as the Director of Studies of the CAS in Brain Health. And a healthy environment is important for a healthy brain. So this is why environmental impacts are very well covered in our new developed online and international study programs. So we cover different aspects of pollution, but of course also climate crisis and the impact of the brain and neurological disorders.
great. I think it's very important. And I'm also the pleasure to introduce Amalia. Amalia is the head of the neurological department in the town in France, south of Paris, called Sens. And I think it's very important to have your point of view, because you are first a student of the CS in Bern, and you are, may I say, the younger generation, and your input in what health environmental issues is very important, because you will face what we have. The future is here, as told Amalia Ross to me today. The future is now, but please, what should we do? What can we do? And it would be very important to have your input. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. So yes, I'm a student in the second cohort of CAS in brain health. I am very happy to be a part of this program. I have amazing colleagues from all over the world, like really all over. There are students also from Australia, I think. And I think it's really important to be the advocates for this, because we know what the future holds. We know that the number of Parkinson's patients will double. Yes, in 2050. As a young neurologist, as a mother, as a citizen, I think it is my role, and I have some responsibilities in the territory that I'm currently working, where I'm working. So I think it is our
Can you precise in what territory you are working in?
So it's the region of Bourgogne. You know it because it's the region of wine. So we have a lot of agriculture there. We have a lot of vignobles, wine regions. So it's important, the role of chemicals. We know a lot of people working in the wine regions, that we have a lot of Parkinson's cases compared to the normal. So yeah, it's our role and our responsibility to be an advocate for brain health. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's very important to see that we need to convince and to advocacy for what we are doing. Environmental neurology is a job, not one person. It's a job of teams. This is very important. Teams from whole Europe, and here as one of member of the task force of environmental neurology at the level of the EAN, it's important to underline this aspect and also to give this message to the political rulers, to the political who are doing the world policy. But I think also that we should not, we should remind that environmental issues globally ones, and this is also our perspective. That is why we are here as a team, a European team, but we expect to have this message, to bring this message to the world, to do better things. Thank you so much. Bye bye.